This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Emergency placements are supposed to be stopgap measures in Manitoba's child welfare system, but too many kids are ending up staying there longer than the 30-day intended cap. And advocates say a new policy to charge agency fees that don't comply will just further strain resources that are already spread thin. CBC's Caitlin Gowerluck has more.
An emergency placement in Manitoba's child welfare system can look just like this. A home on a typical street where kids in care can stay, ideally for a short time, while workers find the right spot for them. But the province says those placements are being overused, and some kids are staying a lot longer than they should. They're trying to fix that. A letter CBC got through Freedom of Information lays out hefty new fees for agencies that leave kids in emergency placement resources, also known as EPRs, for too long, starting at over $100 a day for each child there longer than 30 days, and nearly $400 for 90 days or more. Several of Manitoba's child welfare authorities are concerned, saying a lack of foster homes and a rising number of kids who need special help make it hard to get some kids out of emergency placements. They say the new fees will be hard because they're already struggling.
But our resources they're now depleted. We are doing the best we can with what we have.
Foster mom Jamie Pfau says kids shouldn't be growing up in placements meant for emergencies, but she worries the policy will lead to kids going to worse options.
Without looking forward and considering those consequences, what does that mean for these children?
Pfau says the policy doesn't focus on why emergency placements are being overused, something one expert agrees with.
I'm not sure it's going to be effective. So it can create chaos and confusion, which seems to be what's happening already.
Families Minister Nahanni Fontaine says last year the province enabled agencies to put kids with extended family or people in their home community, which provides another option. One former kid in care is glad to see the province doing something to try to get more kids out of shelters and into homes. Joshua Niepanak was put in emergency placements several times as a teen.
We can't be negligent, but we also can't be resistive to looking out for the best interest of the child, which is through connection.
Several child welfare authorities have asked the province to suspend the new fees and look for other ways to fix the system. Caitlin Gowerluck, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Dying off by the dozens. A wildlife biologist has never seen anything like the number of dead geese showing up north and south of Winnipeg. First, it was more than 150 of them found on a retention pond in Niverville. Now, dozens more dead in Lockport. CBC's Gavin Axelrod has the latest and a warning. This story contains images of the dead birds, which some may find graphic.
Around 50 Canadian geese can be seen lying in the snow on the frozen Red River in Lockport. It hasn't been confirmed how these birds died, but Canadian Wildlife Service biologist Frank Baldwin suspects it was from the avian flu.
We haven't collected any of those carcasses yet for testing, but just based on the number of carcasses from other parts of Manitoba that have been tested at the provincial lab, most of those are suspected to be a form of this highly pathogenic avian influenza virus.
It's the second time in days a large amount of geese have been found dead in Manitoba. More than 100 dead geese were removed from retention ponds in Niverville, about 20 kilometers south of Winnipeg. Lab tests confirmed they died from an avian flu outbreak. Baldwin says he's never seen anything like the number of dead birds appearing in Niverville and now Lockport.
It's definitely concerning because it's not something we've seen before. So people have been working a long time on avian influenza, and we haven't seen this level of mortality before.
At least one goose in Lockport appeared to have been picked at by scavengers. Baldwin says many other animals have already been infected by the virus this year.
In coyotes, in otters, and foxes, and ravens, and crows, and snowy owls, and bald eagles.
In a statement, the province says it's aware of the dead geese in Lockport. It's reminding people not to touch and handle sick or dead birds. Anyone who comes across dead birds can call the Provincial Turn-In Poachers line. Gavin Axelrod, CBC News, Lockport.
Community members and business owners are getting the chance to voice their concerns over the new proposed location for a supervised consumption site in Winnipeg. The first round of in-person consultations is happening tonight. The province is pitching the former Western Fabrics building at 366 Henry Avenue. Its first choice for 200 Disraeli Freeway was dropped after people rallied against it. The province says this new location addresses safety concerns, but some business owners in the area are also worried about their bottom line.
We heard from community who are saying we need more time, businesses, we need input. So the session that we're adding is specifically for businesses in that Exchange District, Chinatown area to hear their perspectives, concerns, what do we need to address.
That extra session will happen next week. Meantime, a virtual session will also be held on Thursday. A 54-year-old man has been charged after Winnipeg police say 2 youths were sexually assaulted. They'd gone to his home on Saturday to drink and do drugs, according to police. Officers say one of the two knew the man. One left, but the other stayed and was physically and sexually assaulted. Investigators say they also found out about an earlier incident in October where one of the young people was also assaulted. He's facing numerous charges and remains in custody. A 6-year-old boy has been killed after getting hit while trying to slide behind a car in northern Manitoba. It happened in Shamattawa in the parking lot of a business last Friday. RCMP say a driver was backing up when they hit the young boy. That same driver took him to a community nursing station where he died from his injuries. Mountie spoke with witnesses on scene who saw several kids hanging onto bumpers of vehicles in an attempt to slide on the snow. They say it's unclear whether the boy was with a group or if he saw others do it and tried to do it himself. A proposal to create a 4th emergency service for mental health calls drew mixed reactions at City Hall today. The mayor says it's needed to take pressure off frontline responders. While some welcome the idea, others fear the solution could make the problem worse. CBC's Cameron McLean has more.
A call for help for a man in crisis turned deadly at this Magnus Avenue house in February last year. Police shot and killed 59-year-old Bradley Singer. An investigation concluded Singer confronted officers with an axe when they entered the home. But the case is one of many fatal encounters that began with a call about mental health. Now, Winnipeg Mayor Scott Gillingham says he wants to create a new non-police emergency service dedicated to mental health crises. On Tuesday, the Executive Policy Committee approved a single-source consultant contract to study the idea. But Nick Casper, president of the United Firefighters of Winnipeg, says the city should focus on fixing the emergency services it already has.
It causes our members deep concern that today you propose to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to design a 4th emergency service at the very moment when your existing emergency service is in a documented state of crisis.
The city spends millions every year on overtime and worker compensation board claims related to psychological injuries of paramedics and firefighters. Casper says past city reports have found the fire paramedic service needs another 80 members. But Gillingham says the answer is not simply adding more people.
So your request is that we just add more FTEs into the same system without changing the system? Because I'm proposing changing the system.
Others, like Kate Kaler of the Police Accountability Coalition, supported the idea, saying a trauma-informed, non-police alternative is long overdue.
We have long called, since our inception really, for a detasking of the police for services such as mental health crisis, who really do deserve a mental medical response first before enforcement.
A final report on the proposal is expected sometime next year. Cameron McLean, CBC News, Winnipeg.
All right, time now to bring in Riley Lachuk. And Riley, we are getting that first blast of winter for certain.
Yeah, particularly in western parts of the province, Brittany. I mean, creating a bit of a mess on roads, but you know what? good for the ski hills, good for the snowmobilers as we head into the winter months here. So looking at radar right now, yes, we have seen some of that heaviest pocket, that heaviest band of snow from Roblin, Russell down through Brandon into south central parts of the province. Winnipeg, the Red River Valley, as expected, has been on the very eastern edge of the snow. So we've been in periods of snow throughout the day in Winnipeg, unlike to the west where it's been more of a steadier snow event throughout the day today. So we do have that yellow level snowfall warning remaining in place for Brandon, Westman, down into south central Manitoba, Morden, Winkler. This is where we are looking at the possibility of up to 20 centimeters by the time we get into the morning tomorrow, and most of that into those higher elevations around the Riding Mountains, for example, into the Turtle Mountains, where we're looking at some of that enhanced accumulation. But just goes to say that we are looking at the potential for some of that enhanced accumulation across southwestern Manitoba as we head through the night. In Winnipeg, looking at light snow ending, overnight temperature around -12. We'll see that temperature falling throughout the day, Brittany, down to -15 by the afternoon. A bit of sunshine in the Red River Valley. We'll talk about the next round of snow when I come back.
Thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
Well, like Riley said, that snow has arrived in western Manitoba. We'll find out how people there are coping. Manitoba's Premier says Indigenous communities will be involved from the start when it comes to approving major economic projects. The CBC's Ian Fraze has details on the new partnership and what it means for projects like the Port of Churchill.
Now we are starting to see.
Wab Canoe says too many consultations with Indigenous people result in a bitter fight.
By the time you end up in a courtroom on a big project, you've already lost.
His idea, get Indigenous communities to buy in from the start.
Part of what we're trying to do here is to just change the conversation away from being one of like barriers and risks and lawsuits, more towards how do we make money for everybody? How do we create jobs for everybody?
Manitoba's Premier made his pitch Tuesday to a sold-out crowd of business leaders. He's planning a new Crown Indigenous Corporation. This office will take the lead on all major economic development projects, starting with the planned expansion of the Port of Churchill.
Churchill is this idea that people have talked about for 100 years, but I believe whose time has finally come.
Canoe says the province won't have the final say. Half the board members will be appointed by the province, the rest by Indigenous communities. Indigenous leaders are counting on this consultation process to have substance.
So my hope going forward is that this will be a new beginning of how the province of Manitoba will work with First Nations leadership.
David Chartrand believes the conditions are right for the Port of Churchill expansion to proceed.
So we miss this, and it rails right by us or sails by us. We have made this province a continued have-not province.
Legislation to create a Crown Indigenous Corporation is planned for the spring. Ian Fraze, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A judge has sentenced a Winnipeg man for possessing childlike sex dolls and AI-generated child sexual abuse material. On Monday, Jeffrey Sewell pleaded guilty to possessing and making child sexual abuse imagery. He was given 3.5 years. Police discovered a vast collection of images and videos. He also made videos of child sex abuse through computer-generated technologies. Ethics professor Neil MacArthur says with the rise of artificial intelligence, these kinds of cases could become more common.
The AI tools that are available now are mostly restricted in this way, but it's not hard to break the restrictions. There are ways around it. You can run local AI models and you can change the restrictions that the local AI models have. So I do think this is going to become more prevalent, and I do think it's going to become much, much harder to control.
MacArthur says the case underscores why lawmakers need to develop specific laws on how AI-generated child abuse materials will be regulated in Canada. Western Manitoba is getting a snowy reminder tonight that winter has arrived. Much of Westman is under a yellow level snowfall warning, and a citywide plowing operation will begin in Brandon tonight at midnight. CBC's Michelle McDougall has more.
This is the first official snowfall of the season, and it is really packing a punch. But we in southwestern Manitoba did have warning. In fact, we are under a snowfall warning right now from Environment and Climate Change Canada, with an expected 15 to 20 centimeters expected for this area. So that includes the city of Brandon and communities north, south, east, and west within about a 2.5-hour drive. It's cold, yes, -8 to -11. Now that's the still air temperature, but you have to factor in the northeast wind with gusts up to about 45 kilometers an hour. So that has created a wind chill as well as visibility problems. Now that is creating havoc on the highways. We talked to a trucker who was heading west on Highway number 1, and he said that he felt confident, obviously, in his big semi, but it's when he comes up on vehicles that either don't have the proper lights running that it really puts him on edge. Now, within the city of Brandon, visibility is still a problem. We talked with people who are out shoveling their sidewalks, and most of all, people are taking it in stride.
I'm known as the Snow Lady. I love the snow. I'm full-blooded Canadian.
Oh, this is a breeze. I mean, when I lived back east, I mean, if you got lots of rain, lots of moisture, snow like every shovelful felt like 50 pounds. This is, sometimes you take the leaf blower and just go.
We did talk to somebody, though, within the city who had just come off one of the provincial highways, so it's not a double-lane highway, and his caution was pretty much the same as the trucker told us, that
If you're behind a large vehicle like a semi, yeah, you got to stay way back because you can't see. Zero visibility behind what they throw up on their back wheels.
So the message is drive according to the conditions. Be safe out there. Michelle McDougall, CBC News, Brandon.
As Michelle said, be safe out there. We do know
exactly.
those roads can get treacherous. We saw some highways that were closed already in the past 24 hours because of this. Riley, let's get right into it.
Yeah, I mean, this one a little bit more potent. It's been, one after another, what seems like over the past couple of weeks, Brittany, with some quick-moving clippers. This one a little bit more potent, and I'll show you why with our upper-level winds. There's a bit of extra oomph, there's a bit of extra lift in some of this because of that atmospheric river that's coming off of the Pacific coast here. So you can see some of these brighter reds, yellows. This is what was helping drive some of that extra moisture over the Rockies and what helped this area of low pressure develop as it worked its way across the Rockies and really develop into a system that pushed across the prairies through the overnight hours. So looking at where we're seeing some of that snow right now, so I was showing you earlier some of the heaviest bands sort of through Roblin, Russell, along the Yellowhead Highway, down through Brandon into south central parts of the province. This is where we've seen more of a steady snow throughout the day today. But in the Red River Valley, this has been more like light snow on and off. So pretty much as expected, as I was standing here showing you some of the forecast modeling from last night, pretty much came to be what we were expecting as we've gotten throughout the day today. So as we advance into the overnight hours, we do start to see that snow starting to taper off as we get into the evening, but still, a bit of troughing extending back to the northwest into the territories. That will feel maybe a couple more rounds of some light snow as we get through the overnight hours into the morning. Fairly good chance that we'll see either some flurries or some periods of light snow really through the Interlake down through the Red River Valley first thing in the morning, but we get some high pressure starting to build into the west, and that's going to start to drive in some colder air as we get through the day tomorrow. So we'll go on the downward slide again, temperature-wise, as we get through the day. Bit of a sunnier one through parts of Westman into parts of northern Manitoba, but more like peaks of sunshine by the time we get to the afternoon for the Red River Valley. As this high pushes through, then we get another round of this as we get through Thursday, although this one tracking a bit further north this time. So Westman into the Red River Valley, this is more like a chance of flurries as we get through the morning hours on Thursday, but parts of the northern Interlake up into northern Manitoba, this is more of a steady snow event for the northern part of the province. As this cold front tracks through, this will really plunge temperatures toward the weekend once again, so we're going up and down a couple of times here as we get through the next several days. So snowfall, in terms of what's to come in behind this takes us out to lunchtime tomorrow, maybe another 4 or 5 centimeters for parts of Westman by the time this tapers off. For the Interlake into the Red River Valley, this is pretty much done. Maybe a couple more centimeters first thing in the morning, but that's about it. Then we'll add another 2 to 4, maybe 5 as we get through into the day on Thursday as that next round moves through. So just don't put the shovels away just yet because we're looking at another round of this coming. Into the morning, minus 11s, minus 12s into the Red River Valley, but we do see some of that clearing down to minus 17 in Swan River, minus 18 in the Paw. Temperatures in the Red River Valley falling throughout the day tomorrow to minus 15 degrees, minus 14 for Thursday, Brittany. Another round of snow there, and then that temperature plunges as we get into the weekend.
All right, thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
All right, well, as Riley said, I hope you've got your shovel or that snowblower ready. We've got much more to come straight ahead. We're learning more about internal wildfire reviews conducted by the province after the NDP government cancelled an urgent external review in 2023. But documents obtained by CBC News show the reviews consisted of verbal reports with no written recommendations about any ways to improve. CBC's Bartlett Kivas reports.
Almost 4% of Manitoba's landmass burned this spring and summer, the most severe wildfire season in Manitoba in recent memory. 2 people died and nearly 30,000 were displaced. Now, the province is trying to find out what it could do better.
We'll start operations.
In November's throne speech, the NDP government promised an external review of wildfire operations, employing the expertise of firefighters who battled the blaze in Jasper. This comes 2 years after the incoming government canceled an external wildfire review that wildfire officials called urgent. When CBC News asked about that cancellation, wildfire officials said they conducted an internal review instead.
We know our situation well, and we're really well positioned to be able to do an assessment and implement any recommendations that would come out of that.
Documents obtained by CBC News show the Wildfire Service's internal review didn't result in any written recommendations about ways to improve. In an email written the day CBC News asked about the cancellation of the external review, the official in charge warned staffing shortages affected the review. On June 18th, Kristen Hayward warned other provincial officials due to some limitations in staff capacity, we have not been producing formal written reports that detail the outcome of these reviews. They are more like meeting notes and verbal discussion. Documents also show an internal assessment was not used for any specific assessment that was done or created, but instead was language used to describe ongoing culture and continuous improvement done by the division. In an interview in December, Hayward said there was no need for a formal report.
We don't like to focus on writing up lengthy written reports just because our response really needs to be agile.
Documents obtained by CBC News also show the former PC government set aside $100,000 for the review and even selected a consultant. But nothing happened with this project after the NDP took power.
I'm just shocked that they wouldn't have carried through on a review.
Greg Nesbitt was the cabinet minister responsible for the Wildlife Service in the former PC government. In 2023, he approved the $100,000 contract for the external review because, he said, provincial staff couldn't do it alone.
It was too big a job to determine all the deficiencies that existed, and we needed people to go out there and talk to people in the field.
Nesbitt said he visited northern Manitoba communities and witnessed the lack of training, equipment, and the ability to quickly attack fires.
And that was very, very concerning because you know, Bartley, how remote those First Nations are, and getting crews in there quickly was tough.
Spokespeople for Wabkinu's cabinet said the decision to cancel the external review came from the department. There is no record of this in the documents obtained by CBC News. CBC News asked to speak to Jamie Moses, who was the minister responsible for wildfires in 2023, and the current minister, Ian Bushy. The NDP government declined our interview requests. In a statement, a spokesperson for Bushy said the external review now underway will be broader in scope than any wildfire season review done previously. Bartlett Kivas, CBC News, Winnipeg.
The federal government has introduced a new bill that seeks to toughen laws targeting crimes against women and children. It's being billed as one of the most consequential set of changes to the criminal code in decades. The CBC's Kate McKenna has more.
Canada's Justice Minister ushering in a sweeping piece of legislation aimed at helping victims.
It's clear that public safety has become a major priority for the Government of Canada. And of course, that responds to the fact that public safety is a major priority for Canadians.
Bill C-16 targets violence against women, from criminalizing the distribution of sexual deepfakes to making all murder motivated by hate first degree, including femicide.
I think that Minister Fraser has truly listened to what survivors have been saying. I think that the bill, it's very broad, but it has systematically addressed every aspect of the work that needs to be done to actually start the work of eradicating gender-based violence.
The bill would also crack down on online sextortion targeting kids. It would create an offense of recruiting youth into crime and would also strengthen mandatory minimum sentences for child sexual offenses.
What we are seeing today is unlike anything we have faced before. Reports of online sexual luring targeting Canadian children have surged to unprecedented levels.
The Justice Minister also says Ottawa will restore more than a dozen mandatory minimum sentences already ruled unconstitutional, but this time allowing some judicial discretion.
What we've seen in the decisions that the Supreme Court has made that have struck down routinely each of the mandatory minimums is that there was no provision to recognize that there may be circumstances where the penalty would be grossly disproportionate.
The bill also issues new guidance for how courts should deal with long waits for trials, requiring them to look at other options before ending a case due to delays. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
In just a few hours, Manitobans will once again be able to stock up on U.S. alcohol. Manitoba is putting U.S.-made booze back on sale starting tomorrow. They'll be available at 12 select stores across the province. It comes months after the government yanked millions of dollars of American alcohol off its shelves amid the tumultuous trade war. Retailers and businesses were able to buy those products before the public this week. The Premier says $1.9 million was sold within the first 3 hours it was available. Proceeds will go to holiday charities. Manitoba Public Insurance is making a change to how it registers high school students for its driver's education program, Driver's Ed. The province is scrapping its first-come, first-serve method for course registration. In the past, it's led to long lines. Starting in the spring, MPI will now offer a multi-day registration window. From January 5th to 24th, students will start getting emails notifying them of their registration window and directions on how to complete their enrollment. MPI anticipates more than 2,700 spots will be available across Manitoba this spring. The West End Cultural Centre is singing a happier tune. Last week, officials said they needed to urgently raise $50,000 by the end of the month to keep programs going. At the time, the executive and artistic director said the building at Ellis and Sherbrooke had a severe cash flow issue. Now the centre says there's been an overwhelming response and $70,000 has been raised. That's a 500% increase in the centre's annual donations. It was a journey that twice crossed the Atlantic and spanned a century. An Inuit kayak was perhaps the centerpiece of a collection of historical Indigenous items returned this weekend by the Vatican. It and others originating in Canada's north have now been unveiled. Juanita Taylor reports.
All eyes at the media event were on a white sheet covering the ancient sealskin kayak here at the Museum of History in Gatineau. The century-old kayak is still in very good condition. Its waterproof stitching is still intact, a wooden frame still holding it together, showing its journey to the Vatican from the Western Canadian Arctic 100 years ago and back was handled with great care. Inuit Tapari Kanatami President Natan Obed was also there for the reveal.
This kayak would have been used for beluga hunting. This would have been one of the most essential tools that an Inuit hunter would have to be able to care for himself and his community.
Other items in today's reveal include a water pouch, a needle case, a hunter's toolkit, and an ulu. These items, including the kayak, will stay at the Museum of History until a museum is built in the north that can preserve them. And when that will be, it's not known yet. Juanita Taylor, CBC News, Gatineau.
Police say they've dismantled a violent criminal group operating in Ontario and Quebec that was responsible for everything from robberies and carjackings, even murder. The crime network has been particularly concerning to investigators because young teens were allegedly recruited to take part. Jamie Strachan has the details, but a warning, viewers may find some of the video disturbing.
The violence, brazen and reckless, and now police say part of an organized criminal network in Ontario and Quebec.
These suspects certainly did not discriminate. They showed complete disregard for the value of human life, and they left hundreds of victims in their wake.
To underscore the point, police releasing these stunning videos showing a shooting into a crowded hospital emergency room, store windows smashed, employees shot during armed robberies, a man gunned down in his driveway. Not random gang violence, police say, but planned mayhem that happened over the course of a year.
This was not a traditional street gang, but rather a coalition of adult men from different groups and locations who would align themselves for profit-motivated violence.
In what they've dubbed Project Wrangler, 13 people have been arrested, 150 charges laid, mostly against men in their late teens and early 20s, but police say teens as young as 14 were involved.
The group recruited and exploited younger individuals, using them as drivers and lookouts, and in some cases using them directly in the criminal activity themselves.
Part of a trend of increasingly violent crimes being committed by younger people.
15 years ago, we supported a lot of young people that were, maybe committing, petty acts of mischief. The pendulum has swung way the opposite way.
They're being groomed in real time through their phones.
Those who deal with these kinds of cases say young recruits are easy to manipulate and face little punishment if caught.
The jobs oftentimes begin smaller and then they progress. And oftentimes what ends up happening is that a young person finds themselves in a situation where either they have to prove themselves or perhaps they find that perhaps, they got in too deep.
Police point out another common theme too. Nearly all of those charged were out on bail. Jamie Strachan, CBC News, Toronto.
Song, spirit, and sportsmanship. How one ultimate Frisbee team is taking things to the next level. Well, it might be the only place in Manitoba you'll find parody songs, unicorn costumes, and sportsmanship taken to the ultimate level. Inside indoor fields and rec centres around the city and province, it's all about fun and fair play. It's ultimate frisbee. For Winnipeg team Completely Clueless, the team spirit extends to the sidelines. This is the first project of the school year by Sisler Create students in collaboration with CBC.
Ultimate Frisbee is about competitive play for sure. It was really built out of a need to want to do something fun out there, something really physical and hard that requires skill. And, you know, throughout the years, there have been many fun teams that do all kinds of interesting things while being really great ultimate players.
Nice pull, unicorn.
We can be good players and maintain the rules ourselves. We don't need referees. We can call our own fouls or, you know, do our best to not infringe on another person's space. And just the whole ethos is quite different. So that's really what makes the game special. And I think people show that in a variety of ways, including, you know, through a cheer or a song.
Way back in the mid-90s when I started playing Ultimate, one of the things that pretty much all the teams did is during the game they would write a song. And when I say write a song, I mean a parody of a song. And then at the end of the game, each team would sing it to one another.
Okay, so rhyme was fine.
That practice has really dwindled, but the Completely Clueless team has felt it's really important to maintain that tradition.
We're playing Ultimate. Okay. Oh yeah. There's no I want to say. And I'd like just
a lot of people come from other sports to Ultimate and they talk about what a good atmosphere it is, and I feel like they really bring that.
I think they're really fun to play against, and they're a really strong team, and it's good times.
Yeah.
Ultimate.
Okay.
It's the thing that our team is known for doing, is writing these songs and doing them with a certain aplomb.
Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you Clueless.
Ain't past of mine, made it flow just fine. Last week's pass was fine.
A new national survey shows more Canadians are finding family doctors, but timely care and access for all remains a real challenge. Health reporter Christine Burak has the details.
Canadians want someone looking out for their care. Now more are finding it through a family doctor.
So I think the big things in Canada are getting better.
A new national report examining the primary care system suggests 81% of those surveyed now have a family doctor or nurse practitioner. 3 years ago, it was 77%. Despite the progress, roughly 5.9 million Canadians are still waiting, including Rodrigo Martinez, who lost a doctor he waited over 2 years for in Ontario when he moved to Quebec.
It's very troublesome and worrisome, mostly because aside from myself, I have 2 kids and I have to worry about their future as well.
But even those with a family doctor reported challenges accessing care. Just over a third of Canadians said they could get a same or next day appointment. And
there are some concerning trends in the demographics in terms of what we're seeing in terms of the groups who seem to have better access than others.
Data reveals gaps, including more women than men having regular care. And income matters. Among high earners, 84% have care. Those earning a lot less, it's closer to 70%.
If you don't have the opportunity to have access to the same family physician over time where you can develop that relationship and trust, it can be very difficult for people to want to access the healthcare system for the care they need, particularly for preventative care.
The survey also found 11% of those without a doctor paid out of pocket for appointments, something that shouldn't be happening under the Canada Health Act.
This is something that should be publicly covered. So to me, this is a real indication that we need to do better.
While provinces like Ontario, Manitoba, and Nova Scotia are now investing in team-based care to take on more patients, Canadians surveyed gave the primary care system overall 3 stars out of 10. Christine Burak, CBC News, Toronto.
Riley back in now. Riley, I don't know how many stars I'd give this weather, but probably not too many right now. But if you like the snow, if you like the cold, this weather is for you, that's for sure.
My tip of the day, if you're taking the pups out for a walk in the snow, keep the towel close to the door. That way it's there ready for you when you get home.
Because you're going to need it.
You're going to need it. So that's why we're doing the catnapping forecast tonight. I mean, there are people that do love the snow. Thinking of the snowmobilers, the ice fishers like the colder weather, the ski hills. This will be good news. But yeah, there are some folks who could probably do without it, who would probably rather do something like Tux is doing and stay far away from the windows. Maybe not quite in the sink, but pretty close. Thank you, Janelle, for sending this picture in. Send yours to talkback@cbc.ca. In particular, if your pups are out playing in the snow, I'd love to see those pictures so we can start showing them as we get closer into the holidays here. So in the morning, maybe a few little flurries left over, a couple periods of light snow first thing in the morning, but you'll notice as we get through the day, as we get into more high pressure, we are going to see that temperature starting to fall throughout the day. So minus 15 by the afternoon, dropping closer to minus 15, 16 by supper time. It'll be a bit slow to clear out, so that's why I'm saying probably a mostly cloudy sky as we get through the day tomorrow, here in the Red River Valley at least, but sunnier skies back to the west where that high pressure will have more of a hold before the next system starts to push in. So right now in Winnipeg, -8. This is as high as we got today. Northeast winds at about 20 or so at the moment. Pressure is rising right now across the province. Temperatures really hanging around -10 for much of south and central parts of the province into northwestern Ontario, but on the cusp of some cooler air in the north still, -28 in Dooley Lake, Churchill sitting at -24 degrees at the moment tonight. So overnight tonight, looking at another 5 to 10 centimeters likely kind of along the Yellowhead Highway north and south of into south central parts of the province, into the Red River Valley, more like 2 to 4 likely through the overnight hours. Temperatures in the Red River Valley into the Interlake hanging around -13, -14, but where we start to get some clearing overnight down into the -20s for Roblin, close to for Swan River, maybe a few more centimeters of snow yet to come as well for the Pas OCN into Grand Rapids. So hour by hour for most of us actually across the province, temperatures dropping closer to the -20 mark by the afternoon, a bit of sunshine through northwestern parts of the province throughout the day. Starting around -11, -12 in the Red River Valley, -14s and 15s. So don't dress the kids for this. Dress the kids for something closer to -16 or -17 as we head through the afternoon in the west tomorrow, as that ridge starts to set in and usher in some much cooler air as we get through the day tomorrow, Brittany, and a bit of leftover cloud cover, but still chilly nonetheless into the Red River Valley as well.
All right, thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
It's a way to share his late brother's life with other book lovers. Tim Brandt's older brother, Les, was an avid reader and had a massive collection of books, and he loved to share it. When Les died earlier this year, Tim decided to spread his brother's books across Winnipeg's little free libraries. Shanali Vidal shares their story.
I thought I'd bring the last of my donations of his book collection to the Big Red Library that's here at the entranceway to the Hugo Dock. I'm Tim Brandt. Les was my older brother. We grew up with books in the home. We didn't actually have TV in our home when we were kids, so we were all great users of the library. He was social all day, but at night he would go back in his apartment and read till 4 in the morning, and he read so many books. It was just astonishing to me. I wanted to donate his books to the little libraries because I felt it was a good way to spread him around, a little bit like scattering his ashes. So I started at the end of September delivering to libraries, and by now, early December, I've come to realize that I did 100 different libraries, and I thought I'd end it now, but winter's setting in. This was a library that he checked quite regularly and often donated to himself, and I just know it would mean a lot to him that I was bringing his art books there to rest in that library too. I would hope people would want to share their own loved ones' lives in some creative way, whatever they can think of or see fit, rather than just keep it to themselves. The last book I put in the library was Famous Last Words, a book I just finished reading. If I were to choose a line, smile relieves a heart that grieves, and I found that is very true. No matter how you feel, if you can make yourself smile, it's a relief.
Still ahead, the finalists are in. What names could soon adorn Winnipeg's snowplows? We'll have that when we come back. Stay with us. Well, it looks like the inside of a snow globe outside. Inside the RBC Convention Centre, it was transformed into a winter wonderland. It's all part of Variety Manitoba's Day for Kids, 1,400 kids from schools across Winnipeg were invited to the holiday celebration. It's one of the city's largest community-powered holiday events for children from under-resourced neighborhoods.
Today, it's just, again, showering these kids with love, right? Making them leave here happy and excited, and giving them something that when they have left here, right, that they can play with.
All of the kids left with a gift bag filled with toys, treats, and warm winter accessories.
Light snow continuing across much of southern Manitoba as we head through the evening hours here. This will start to lighten up as we get through the night tonight in the Red River Valley. Still likely a few flurries left over into the morning tomorrow. Watch for a falling temperature tomorrow. Breezy couple of days ahead as well. So that wind likely, particularly in the west, to throw around some of that snow as we get into the morning hours. Tomorrow, -14 for Thursday. Maybe a few flurries in the morning, predominantly cloudy. Then we're into the deep freeze, -18 for Friday, -21 for Saturday. Overnight temperatures getting close to the -30 mark through the weekend once again. And then looking at temperatures all the way up to -4 by next Tuesday. And one weather picture for you. Gary sent this picture of this squirrel trying to prepare for winter. Thank you for sending that in. Voting is now open for Winnipeg's first snowplow naming contest. The city put a call out last month for creative names for 12 big machines and a team of pathway plows.
And many of the entries are certainly on the creative side and very Winnipeg. Here's your Daily Lift. Okay, so in all, there's 51 different names to choose from. Those include Kevin Shovel Snow Off, Sled Penner, and Grady Oliveira. Dancing Blade, Burton Cummings, Skip the Ditches, and Winnie the Plow.
Or you could even vote for something as simple as Cupcake. Voting for what to call the dozen pieces of equipment is underway at engage.winnipeg.ca. Through the end of the month, the city says the 12 people whose punny suggestions are chosen will be invited to the announcement and given a custom plate for each of them to keep.
I guess they didn't like our suggestion of Taylor Drift.
Taylor Drift? I know. I'm a little disappointed by that one.
Well.
I'm a little disappointed.
Well, congratulations. Go ahead and vote. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night.
See ya. Drive.